Well, hello lovely people, welcome to today's pick a card reading. Today we'll be doing something a little bit different. I haven't done this subject before, so it will basically be a what you see or what you think in a given situation versus how it is. So kind of a perception versus reality. And today's video will be relationship based. So this, but for a relationship on your mind, either platonic, romantic, like co-work, doesn't matter, just relationship focused. If it goes well, then the next video will be the same, but career-wise. And then we will do a general one without having a specific area in mind. So if this sounds fun to you, then focus a little bit, like look at the three piles in front of you and pick the one that you feel the most drawn to. And let's see what this perception versus reality relationship thing for you is. Hello pile 1, welcome to your part of the reading. So I have pulled the cards for you. The upper part of the reading will be what your perception is of this relationship, and the lower part is what the reality is. And it doesn't really matter if we will, blah, blah, I can speak from the beginning today, amazing. It doesn't matter whether we'll be reading the cards like all, let's say, on a given row, or it will be parallel, because both, I would say, give the same story for you. And this is put in one sentence that your perception of this relationship is much more negative than what the reality is. So let's get into it so I can explain to you my train of thought. So on the upper side of the reading, on your perception side of the reading, we started off with the reversed Lovers card. And the reversed Lovers card can speak of disharmony, generally, like some kind of imbalance in a relationship, not seeing eye to eye, not sharing values potentially. It could also be you thinking that there are no mutual feelings in this relationship. Again, whether it's romantic feelings or even friendship feelings, like it might be that you look at this other person and you don't think they feel the same positive way about you. And now afterwards we got the King of Cups. Now whether this King of Cups represents you or them, it could be both, so take it as it resonates. The good thing is that the King of Cups is a really emotionally stable and mature energy, and he is calm, so to say. Like you can see how the water under him might be wavy and everything. There might be a storm, but that doesn't faze him. He has a calming influence. He is an empathetic person. So it could be that you are perceiving this person, the other person in this connection in this way, or it could be that you are perceiving yourself in this way. But then we have three more negative cards, and this is the Three of Pentacles, which speaks about some kind of lack of cooperation and teamwork, feeling a little bit left out in the cold by your teammates. And it is then followed up by the Five of Pentacles, which is again the feeling of being left out in the cold, not having opportunities presented to you or having things taken from you. And generally it signifies some kind of poverty mindset. I would say in this case it is kind of positive that it came up in the reversed, because with the reversed position it does speak about the energy starting to move a little bit out of this negative funk. But then even the last card that came up for you, the Five of Cups, again speaks of the same like sadness and lack mindset, where we have our guy crying over the three cups he is looking at which have spilled, and he is missing to see that in the background there are further opportunities. So this is basically your perception of this situation. You feel like you and this person are not on the same wavelength, and there is something missing. There is something you maybe have missed as an opportunity, something of your hopes not being fulfilled, something of this person not supporting you, just overall a feeling that there should have been more. The thing is that this is your perception, and then when we move into the second row of cards, they are quite more positive actually. So that's why I even said at the beginning, it doesn't matter specifically with your reading, whether you read it row for row or each two cards by themselves, so to say. So the first card we got on the reality side is the Ace of Cups, which is a great card, and even more so I would say about relationships, because it is a card of some kind of fruitfulness and of new love or new relationships beginning and starting to blossom. You know, Cups energy are typically the relationship and the love energy in the tarot. And because they came up even exactly under the reversed Lovers, I would say that there might be a disconnect with you, where you are interpreting something in this situation which seems as a lack of common ground or a lack of shared values, or even as this person not reciprocating your feelings. You're misinterpreting it, when in fact it is just the beginning stages of something starting to develop. And with the second card we have the Hermit reversed. And with the Hermit reversed, there is again this sense of isolation, loneliness and withdrawal. And again, because it came up under the King of Cups, a possible interpretation, if you are seeing yourself as the King of Cups in this relationship, it could be that you think that you are showing yourself as this really calm and empathetic and down to earth in an emotionally stable way type of person, but it is quite the opposite, that you are withdrawn. Now this could be also the other person, like we said. Maybe your perception or Erwartung, what's the word I'm looking for? Maybe your perception or hope for this person is that they should be at this time showing themselves as the King of Cups in your life. Again, being this stable influence, being this teacher even, or it could be a muse, let's call it, like someone who stabilizes your internal emotional world, but they are showing up, if it's not you, like I said, as the Hermit. So there is an issue here. The only issue that's presenting itself more strongly is something to do with the mind and separating oneself from people and from action. Again, this separating yourself could have something to do both with the perception and with the negative thoughts that are being shown as being part of the reality of this relationship. So we will get to that point. The next card we got is the Chariot reversed. And with the Chariot reversed, we again have this issue of some kind of lack of direction, maybe taking 2 steps forward, 1 step back. I would expect this again has something to do either with the Hermit energy, where somebody might be withdrawing either because they are feeling rejected or experiencing fears in the relationship. Or it could be just that you don't feel strong enough, or potentially this person again doesn't feel strong enough to overcome certain obstacles in your or in their way. Again, for you, the obstacles for me are very much giving me mindset obstacles. Now, exactly where they are coming from, Swords energy, I would say it is completely just in the mind, just something we are afraid of, without it necessarily having manifested in the real world. With the Pentacle energy from the previous row, I would say there might have been a negative experience in the past. but it doesn't seem to be necessarily a negative experience in this relationship. So it is, again, sort of just a mind issue. And the last two cards that we got on the reality row, let's say, we have the Eight of Swords and then the reversed Queen of Swords. And the idea here is, again, with the Eight of Swords, is that you're feeling that something here is confined because of worries of the mind. Like you are forcing yourself to close your eyes. If you or this person, you know, if somebody opens their eyes to see how easy it is to get out of this situation, like the situation will dissipate. You will see how little of an effort it would take, but it's just that at this point you are stuck still in this navel gazing or like closing your eyes to the reality. There is still some kind of fear holding this thing back. And with the Queen of Swords being reversed, there is again this energy of some kind of mental confusion, stress, closed offness, like the logical thought right now is not completely present. We have to do something to overcome something in order for it to bloom and to free us from all of these worries. Okay, so let's maybe try to pick another 3 cards. Where did I... Ah, yes. Let's try to pick another 3 cards as some specific advice for you in this situation. And let's see what wants to come up. Some specific advice for pile 1's situation. Okay, pile 1. So the 3 additional cards that came up for you are the Two of Swords, the Ten of Wands, and the reversed King of Pentacles. So as an advice, I would say it's similar to what we can also come to the conclusion of based on the initial cards. There is some kind of stuckness because you or the other person is unable to take a specific decision, and I think that what will help facilitate this decision is sharing a little bit more. Again, with the Hermit energy coming up and like all of this feeling of being a little bit left out in the cold, not cooperating with other people or with another person, I feel like a major issue here is not really sharing one's thoughts, one's intentions, one's burdens, if you may. This might be where part of the disconnect is coming from. And there could be also a part of this that has to do with there could be something about the financial aspect, like somebody being a little bit too focused on work things, let's say, or just like general material things, which is then facilitating this energy of not giving 100% of oneself and not showing oneself completely and carrying all of our issues on our back until the back of the mule breaks, basically. But if not, at the very least, the issue is having some kind of really rigid approach and not trying something new. And I genuinely think with your cards that this something new will have to do with opening up a little bit more and sharing a little bit more, because your cards primarily focus on worries of the mind, which lead us to this confusion that we are alone and separated from other people. And the other focus is very much on the material things. Again, whether you see this particularly as just a focus on security and maybe not wanting to expose yourself to another person, like that type of security, or whether it has to do literally with over focusing on work, money, or whatever. It doesn't matter. The energy that's missing here, and which I think will bring the balance in this separation in this separation of thought, will and mind. It will be a little bit of the water energy, a little bit of the opening up to the other person, not hermiting yourself out, but instead taking a conscious step to get into the king energy, the king of cups specifically, and showing some kind of vulnerability, like at least starting, you know how when you make the first move and the other person sees that you are willing to do something, then it becomes easier for them to also step forward. Like, this is what this is giving me. Just someone has to start, because right now we are in some kind of illusion, which also starts to manifest itself in the reality, that something here is not working, but we don't really know what. It's not that something has particularly happened. It just looks like we haven't met eye to eye because we have not been communicating, or we have not been emotionally sharing. We have just been in our little bubble. So this is what your cards are giving me, pile one. I hope that this was helpful for you guys, and I wish you all the luck. Hello, pile 2, welcome to your part of the reading. So I have pulled the cards for you, and now let's get into what is your perception, the top row, versus what is the reality of this relationship you are asking about. So I would say, to put it shortly in one sentence, what your pile is giving me as current energy is that maybe you are expecting faster forward motion, which is leading to your frustration, than what is possible and what should happen, basically. So let's get into your cards one by one, so I can explain to you a little bit more what exactly I mean. So if we take a look at the top row of your cards, we started off with the reversed Magician, which on the one hand could be signifying that you or the other person, I'm guessing it's you, regarding the relationship in general, that there is a lot of exploration, but there is no action currently. Because if the normal position, Magician, is about being able to manifest everything we set our mind to, in the reversed position, our mind is not yet exactly set, and this is also leading to the manifestation not really coming out properly. There could be also a part of it where there is some kind of poor planning. So maybe think about, for instance, you are a busy person, the other person is a busy person. So you could, for instance, not be finding enough time for each other in order to have a faster progression in this relationship. I would say also an aspect with the Magician, it could be that you are experiencing some kind of fear of manipulation, because it is in the row where we have perception. I would not say that this person is trying to manipulate you, but it just might be a fear in the back of your mind. But overall, no matter what the exact detail is, the overall idea of the Magician reversed is that you are struggling with progressing on this given project. In this case, the relationship. And then we got two reversed aces. So the Ace of Pentacles in the third position and the Ace of Wands. And both of those, again, the Ace of Wands being the fire energy speaks about, again, a lack of clear progression, direction, but also a lack of the progression that you had hoped for, because fire energy is fast energy. You want to move forward, you want to experience, you want to build, you want to be inspired, and the energy is stifled right now. And again, there could be the aspect of the lack of planning that we mentioned with the Magician, or they could be, again, the lack of exact direction, like you want something, but you're not quite sure what exactly it is. There might be something like this. Or again, potentially you could be thinking about the other person, that they are in this situation, that they don't know, for instance, what they want from this connection, which is again then leading to the lack of clear direction. And with the Ace of Pentacles, it is similar. It feels like you have planted something, or you are trying to plant something, but it's not exactly working out. There is some kind of delay, there is some kind of stuck energy, like you overall don't know what you're doing. And the last two cards on the top row, we have the Six of Pentacles and the King of Swords. And when it comes to perception here, I would say that your perception is, on the one hand, on the potential of this relationship, that it could amass to something really worthwhile, but also on a more negative side, you could be feeling like you are putting in a lot of effort, like as if you are giving too much out of yourself, potentially, or at the very least, if you are still not at the point where you feel you are giving too much, you just feel that you are being generous in the situation, and you don't necessarily understand why then your efforts aren't being rewarded. And I would say that you also, I would take that the King of Swords energy is your energy. So I would say that you are perceiving yourself to be quite the, I don't know, the smart person. I can't think of a good description, but basically, because swords have to do with the mind, the idea here is that you think that you have some kind of clarity in the situation, that you are seeing it truthfully. And I mean, I guess that makes sense. Of course, we believe our perceptions. So maybe this is what this is pointing to, that you are feeling in the heart of your hearts that you are seeing things for what they are. If not, then at the very least, I would say that maybe this is the energy that you perceive the other person to be in, that they have some kind of power and authority in your life, because kings are always associated with power and authority, especially in this case if it has to do with some kind of intellectual authority. Maybe you look up to this person because of their mind, not necessarily achievements with the King of Swords, I would say more so because of their intellect. Now, when we move to the bottom row of the cards, the reality of this situation. Now, to start off maybe with the Queen coming up, also the Queen of Swords, I would say, how can I say it? I would say that your perception of the situation is closer to the reality maybe than the feeling that Pile 1 gave. Like, for instance, Pile 1's energy felt much more negative in the perception than the reality. Like, the reality showed much more promise if you just make it out of the perception. With you guys, I feel like your perception is a little bit closer to the reality, in the sense of, on the one hand, the Queen showing some kind of stable energy and mental clarity of itself. So it could be just showing that you yourself have mental clarity in the situation and that you're judging it. Okay. The thing is, maybe with you, the issue has more to do with your internal expectations, because you could be seeing something kind of for what it is, but basically hoping it would be more than what it is, or hoping it will develop faster than it is. So the one, let's say, a bit more negative card that came up for you, for your situation, is the reversed Two of Pentacles, this first card we got. And the reversed Two of Pentacles speaks about some kind of potential overburdening in your life, in the sense of that you're trying to juggle multiple things at once, and you are on the verge of letting something fall to the ground just because you don't have enough hands, that type of energy. So there could be an issue here that you are over investing in one thing on the expense of something else. Now, what exactly this one thing is, it could be potentially speaking about the relationship directly, because in your perception we also got the one of the investment cards, the Six of Pentacles. I would say it's not wrong that you're seeing that you're investing in this, but you might be doing it a little too much. Like, this is a card of overcommitment. And the thing is, you can only give so much of yourself. Sooner or later, there has to be another person to give in the situation. Especially for relationships, you can't dance a tango on your own, you know. Some things, yeah, sure, you can do them on your own, but other things, you would need like at least a little bit from somebody else. Even if it's 10%, you can't finish something like this on your own. So maybe this is something in your reality that you still haven't gotten to, that you still haven't seen, or potentially you are starting to see it right now. Maybe this is also why the Queen came in second direction, because it is still like it has not come the time for you to exactly come to the realization. You are looking in the other direction or she is looking in the other direction, actually. But I feel like this thought is starting to creep up in your mind. And the thing is, the cards as they are not giving me some kind of huge red flag, like stop, don't do this, change courses, blah, blah, any of this. No, but they are speaking about like, sure, this has potential. It's not something dramatic that we need to stop you from doing and pursuing. But the energy it has to do more with just having fun at this point and letting things unravel a little bit. Because you got two pages, one after the other, and then a hard work card basically, and the time card. Let's say it that way. So with the page card, the page is all about exploring something new, having fun. Like, it is young energy. It's still not exactly committed energy. It's not grounded energy. It's just like the lady on the card, having fun, dancing in the middle of the desert, throwing some sticks around in the air and seeing what's gonna stick, basically. And with the Four of Wands, we again have some kind of celebration, some kind of spending time in community, enjoying yourself, having fun, feeling harmonious with the people around you. So both are social cards, both are positive cards, but I would not say that they are commitment cards. I would not say that they're not like Pentacle energy, which is super grounded and there for you, and like, let's take care of our finances for this month, for instance, you know. And because the last card that came up for you for this relationship, like I said, it is kind of the work and time card. It is the Eight of Pentacles, which can speak about you putting in effort day in and day out and it taking some time to develop into something. I would say that this is the reality you are finding yourself right now in the connection, where it's not that it is negative or that it doesn't have potential, but you are just expecting something much grander to happen and much faster. And at this point, things are going calmly and they are just asking you to enjoy yourself along the ride without overthinking. Because, for instance, the negative aspect of this card potentially would be that the effort can sooner or later turn into drudgery. Of course, for certain things, for us to gain certain experiences or to gain certain skills, of course, you need to practice day in and day out. But there is the possibility there that if you are not careful, the fun might disappear from this effort. And I mean, if you're trying to lose weight, for instance, and you get sick and tired of it, it's not the end of the world, because hopefully you will lose the weight and then you will not have to do the diet. But if we are speaking about a relationship, like if you lose the zest for the relationship, it is kind of going to be dead in its tracks. Like, even if you push it up to this point, if you lose the interest, was it like really worth it? So I don't know if that tangent even made any type of sense, but my point here being, pile 2, is that if anything, what the reality of your connection seems to be asking of you is to chill a little bit and to enjoy yourself, to let things happen. Whether they turn out good or not, this is something that lies in the future, but at this point, you just need to enjoy yourself a little bit. Let's maybe, I think, like, you don't necessarily need advice, but still, let's take some 3 additional cards like I did for pile 1, so you don't feel left out. Let's take 3 advice cards for your situation and let's see what comes up. So, what's some advice for our pile 3? Okay, the 3 cards that came up for you, pile 2, are the reversed High Priestess. Yeah, High Priestess, the Ace of Swords, and the Two of Cups. So I would say that something that's gonna help you in this situation would be to step back a little bit from putting in the effort into the relationship and thinking about it and worrying about its progress and pulling your energy a little bit back and focusing on yourself. With the High Priestess, it just basically speaks that there might be some kind of disconnect from your intuition at this point and from your inner world, from your feelings, let's say. So just pulling your energy a little bit to be able to refocus on yourself would be helpful. You can do this in whichever medium you like, whether it's through some self-care rituals, like some kind of meditation. It doesn't necessarily matter. But once you do this, this is going to be the point where your mind will get recharged with new energy, where you would achieve some kind of mental clarity, because you see how calm she is. She looks like she is in the meditative, like calm, almost sleeping state, and like the mental clarity and the ideas are bursting out of her head, that type of thing. Like at this point, your energy will be recharged on the one hand to get ideas, new ideas potentially about the connection, but also potentially about something else, maybe something else that will feed your life, some kind of other project. And when that happens, I feel like either the connection itself will progress with the Two of Cups showing up. Either this will be the point where you and this other person will have some kind of improvement, or you would just be seeing things with a new, more collaborative eye, so to say. Like you would not be so focused on the end result, but more so on the experience and on the commonality and sharing with someone else, like that type of thing. Okay? I hope that this was helpful and I wish you all the luck. Hello pile 3 and welcome to your part of the reading. So let's get into your cards, same as with the other two piles. Top row is perception, bottom row is reality. Now with you guys right off the bat, if we theme the readings where pile 1 was most negative in their perception and the reality seemed to be more promising, pile 2 that were kind of spot on but had some missings here and there. With you and your relationship, I am giving the vibe that it's the most complex. So one thing is that this might be some kind of huge relationship milestone for you. Not milestone in the meaning that you have, for instance, married this person, or I don't know, or they are your first boss in your life or whatever. Not that type of milestone, but more so I think that this relationship is especially significant in your life in the context of you evolving, you experiencing new things, you changing, that type of milestone. And a part of this, like your pile got quite a lot of major arcana cards, and major arcana have to do with significant change in our lives, be it for positive or negative change, like doesn't matter. And the other thing with you is, I mean, maybe technically we can look at your perception of this connection being a little bit more negative than the reality of it, but quite honestly it is quite balanced, meaning that both sides are giving me kind of confusion energy. Like it's not straightforward. It is, yeah, I don't know how to say it better than confusion. Maybe that's why also I'm feeling like this might be something really significant in your life, because it's one of those things that they are both positive and negative, so to say. Like they're so profound and have such an impact on our life, on our psyche, on our further development, that you can't really say whether it's positive or negative. It's just all of it. Like, I don't know if this even makes sense, but hopefully me trying to explain to you the cards one by one and the energies will resonate with you, and I will try to give as much examples of scenarios as well. Hopefully it will all make sense. Okay, so let's start with the top row, which has to do with your perception of the connection. So one thing that firstly pulled my attention with the World card coming up for you, like dead center up here, I feel like part of the profoundness of this connection has to do with you feeling that this was somehow endgame. Maybe you put in a lot of hope in this relationship, and I'm not saying this is something negative if this is what it's coming out as, like not at all. It just seems like there was something more significant again with this relationship, because the World card is the closing card, like it's the end of the cycle, and it could be that you're perceiving that this relationship is coming to an end of a cycle, which it very well may be, at least in its current energy Not saying that you will not be with this person again in this lifetime, but just that there will be some kind of profound change and you will start a completely new leaf. But this is something we will discuss in a little bit with the bottom row, with the reality. But again, there is something here about coming full circle. And this is why I feel like this was some kind of end game relationship for you. And it could also be giving you the sense of some kind of accomplishment. Now, speaking about the other cards, let's take it one by one. Firstly, with the... I hate the name of these cards. They are always difficult. So this in the regular tarot would be the Page of Pentacles. Exactly. Thank you, brain. Page of Pentacles. Now, with the Page of Pentacles, there is some kind of stabilizing energy. Like the pages are always the first step of the energy, so to say. They are the youngest energy and they are the most scatterbrained. But out of all of them, the Pentacle one has the most to do with some kind of stability and manifestation of some kind of something material. Even a relationship in this sense can be material when it's grounded. Maybe grounded would be a better idea, because it's not just the presence of love or emotion or something like that. It's something which we take as a concept and we ground it. So this is the first card that came up for you. Then we have the Sun coming up in the reversed. And the Sun is generally a happy card, but it coming out reversed, it could be speaking about some kind of pessimism you're feeling. So it seems something around this situation you feel really pessimistic about, or you could be bipolaring yourself between some kind of extreme optimism and extreme pessimism. And afterwards, with the reversed Seven of Wands, the reversed Seven of Wands is an energy of feeling somehow attacked for the things that you're doing, feeling overwhelmed, thinking about giving up on something, doubting that you can take something to the end. It's that type of energy. And the last card that came up for you in the perception row is the reversed Six of Swords. And the reverse, the Six of Swords generally has to do with us transitioning and changing from one point in our life to the next. And it being reversed speaks about our hesitation to do this transformation. Especially, it speaks about personal transformation. So there is something definitely in this situation, and maybe this in this relationship, and maybe this is the thing that has led your perception to wander off between one extreme and the other, from total positivity to total negativity. There seems to be some kind of change that you have seen needs to happen, but you are still not completely open to that change. And I don't necessarily know what this change is. We'll try to brainstorm it. But whatever it is something that hits really deep. There might also be the feeling here of having some kind of unfinished business. And because again, like the themes of beginnings and closing of cycles seems to be present in your card, because we got the like I said, not the universe card, I can't think of it, the last card of the tarot, the World card, and beneath it we have the Judgment card. there is a really heavy emphasis, which I'm maybe not explaining perfectly, about some kind of psycho nature in this relationship and some kind of profound change, which is still unfinished. Like there is something about you are perceiving some kind of unfinished business in this connection. So I would be curious if you happen to be watching pile 3 and if you happen to be seeing this energy in your life, I would be grateful, super grateful, if you can leave a comment of how this is manifesting in your life. It would be really interesting to see. Okay, let's maybe go to the second row and then we'll try to Frankenstein a coherent thought from both of them. So the second row, the reality row, starts off with the Ace of Cups, which is our emotions card. It is our love card. It is a relationship card. It is something starting anew. And then it is followed by the Knight of Wands. And the Knight of Wands, again, I don't know if I mentioned it actually already. It is a knight who wants to get fast to somewhere. He suffers under extreme haste and scattered energy. And he experiences frustration because, like I said, he wants things to somehow happen faster. And the following card, the Judgment card, has to do with you feeling some kind of call, like the Judgment call. This is basically the idea of the card. There is some kind of call calling your name, but you are ignoring it. Like you are looking at the other direction. You don't want to deal with this, but without the self-reflection, without the change, like this will not stop. It will only get louder. It's that type of thing. But you seem to be experiencing some kind of inner doubt. Maybe you need some time more to reflect in order to embrace this energy. So at this time, you are not embracing it. And afterwards, we have the Chariot card. Again in the reversed position, which doubles the message that we have seen in different ways up till this point, that there is some kind of either lack of direction and unfocused energy, like we said, or a need of changing direction, like slamming the brakes, stopping dead in your tracks, looking around, making a decision on when you need to go, and following that. So the three of those cards fit with each other perfectly because they basically explain facets of the same energy. Like there is unsureness, there is haste, there is frustration because you don't feel like you are moving forward, but this not feeling like you are moving forward is because you are closing your eyes to some kind of bigger picture and bigger message. And once you stop, you reflect and you change that direction, this energy will realign itself. And the last card that came up for you in the perception part is actually the Lover's card, which is amazing. So there is at the end of the rainbow here the promise of some kind of companionship, some kind of love, some kind of relationship, some kind of alignment of values, even alignment with yourself, because the lovers don't always have to speak necessarily about us entering a relationship. It's just coming into harmony with oneself and afterwards with others, because as within, so without, that type of thing. Now pile 2 again, maybe like I said, I hope that these messages that came through for you made sense. If we were to take them to specific scenarios where this could be playing out, not to sound basic, like I don't know if this is some kind of relationship that you have been carrying back and forth for a really long time, and maybe it has been going rocky. And I don't know if this personal transition has to do with this relationship ending in order for a new one to begin, or whether it is that this relationship needs to go through profound change in order for it to start anew. Like I said, no matter what the exact details are, there will be something here about huge change, like not once in a lifetime change, but you know, there's the type of change like starting to visit a new coffee shop, which means nothing in your life. And there is the type of change where just someday some kind of random thought springs up into your mind and then changes the course of your life. And this is the energy that your cards are giving me. And that is also why the perception for you feels a little bit like scarier and a little bit like you need to do something huge and you are feeling maybe backed up in the corner because of it. But it's just something that needs to happen because things will take a totally different and much better direction. Again, whether it is in this same relationship or in another one. Like, I want to say it is within the same relationship personally, just because this was my initial plan or perception of the reading. But again, if you are seeing it in another way, that this is two separate situations that need to happen, so be it. But yeah, pile 3, your cards are like really interesting. Like I said, if you relate to this, I would be really interested to hear how exactly you see it. Let's try, because I did the same for the other 2 piles. Let's pick 3 additional cards of advice for you. Maybe something will want to come out regarding how exactly to go about this change. Like, I don't know, whatever wants to come out comes out. Let's see what it is. Okay, let's say one more. Okay, pile 3. The 3 cards that came up for you are the reversed Queen of Pentacles, the Ace of Pentacles, and the Knight of Swords. So in terms of advice specifically, what I would say would first start off with you finding grounding in yourself. Like we said, your energy seems to be a little bit shaken up by this situation, which is probably also leading to the lack of exact clarity and the exact confidence to move into a particular direction. Definitely for you, the change will be brought through by reconnecting with yourself through some kind of grounding method, whichever one you prefer. Gaining some kind of new perspective, because this card all has to do with looking at things in some new type of way. And once you do, then the energy for fast action will come to you. It's all about finding that direction to move into, because like we said, now you have exactly that sense of clarity lost. And once you find it, of course, the end of the rainbow will be positive. Actually, this card has a rainbow. It's not the only one, but this is one of the cards that have a rainbow. So you will move forward to the next goal. Like there will be a new manifestation, because the Ace of Pentacles again speaks about particularly like earthly manifestations, something grounding itself, not just staying an idea or a feeling, but grounding itself. But you have to overcome the whole thing that was given in the reading of feeling unsure and wanting to stay in an old place. Like no matter what, this relationship is not allowing you at this point to stay in the same safe place. And you see it in your perception. You are just still a little bit hesitant about it. And once you ground, gain some kind of new perspective on how you could be taking things, like heeding that call of the Judgment card, then it seems that things will move quite fast, and that cycle will be closed, whichever or whatever exactly the cycle is, and you will move into the new cycle. You will ground something new, and it will be the right thing. You just have to get there. Yeah, this is basically it, pile 3. I hope that this scatterbrained reading was helpful for you. And again, if you relate to this and you feel like writing a comment, leave it. I will be super thrilled to see like specific examples of this in someone's life, okay? Awesome. I wish you all the luck.